Professor Gangadhar Sahab because he has taken keen interest in our training program, and we have most of these participants are his students. So the society is especially thankful to him. And I'm
Yes, yes,
equally thankful to Dr. A.K. Pandey, our patron, for always supporting the program of the society. Now, today's it's not a webinar; it is a inaugural address for the training program. The training program is on so five types of training program. The first one is on the pollution of water because the water concerns most of us in day-to-day life, and that is one way to make the people sick and invites new kind of disease also. Then the second one is about the pollution in the air. Most of us know that in this pandemic, the water and air, it has been suggested several times and published in newspapers that the virus of this COVID-19 is getting in through water and air. So it is all because of the pollution.
Sir, do you have anything else to say? Sir?
Right, which sometimes become very, very important. So from that point of view, I thought that what should be the contribution of the Society for Empowerment in educating youth and those who matters in the policy. uh, those who are responsible for drafting policy, those who are responsible for the implementing policy, they should be made aware of it, though they are well aware from the very beginning, but we thought that they should be also made available to them. So our target group of the training is the youth and the members from the bureaucracy and from the social service activists. But this time we have got only students of anthropology, and that too from the Mysore University. So we were in two minds whether to start this course or not. But I thought that I consulted our patron, Dr. A.K. Pandeyji, and we decided that no, we should go. Even if we have one uh, participants, we must start our course. So considering that it is the need of the hour, and we got support from Professor Kumar Gangadharji on in this our program of training. So we started, and today it is the beginning, and the inaugural address is to be addressed by Sri Arun Gandhi ji, but since he is in USA, he will be joining us from USA. So his time will the time which suits him will be around 6:45 to 7 p.m. So the I will request now uh, Dr. A.K. Pandey Sahab to uh, say something about our training program.
thank you, Professor Maran. Uh, I think, in my view, the best person knowing about the training program would have been yourself, but still, I thank you for the opportunity to explain something that I understand about Gandhi and happiness. I think how much time is there for me? Uh, Hello, can I know how much time I have? 10 minutes?
You have 25 to 30 minutes.
Uh,
You have 20,
Let me
25
try.
minutes.
Normally, I try to be
You
confined
can.
with the subject. So, Gandhiji and happiness, that is the topic
Hmm.
for or it is total, all topics which will
No,
come on the.
we have five kinds of training program. The first is
Hmm.
on the pollution of air. The second is on the pollution of water. The third is on the disaster management. The fourth is Gandhi and happiness. And the fifth is Gandhi and conflict management. These are the five programs on which we are doing this. We are now inaugurating that program, this training program. So you can speak, you can take as much time as you wish, because all these programs, the programs on the water that I used to give a lecture on this whenever I am invited by any government department or any research institutions. So I am familiar with that. That is first program. Then the other is the air pollution. And the second one, third one is the disaster management. The fourth one is the Gandhi and happiness, which we are doing for almost more than a year. And is Gandhi and conflict management. So all these are there, and I believe and I know that you are also an expert of this, being
So
in
first, so
being a
this is
senior
first
IAS
training
officer.
program, or
First is,
all the five will be in this training program as subjects.
yeah, you can speak, you can give lecture on any one of this.
No, may I know whether these are topics of the training program or five different training programs in which
No,
first
these are
program is.
five different programs. These are five different programs, and the topic is according to the programs. The topics are there. The topics has
So,
been sent to you. Swamshita,
Yes, sir.
Swamshita, you have sent the training programs, the classes, the routine
The
to
routine to
Dr.
all the
A.K.
professors and everyone.
and Dr. A.K. Pandey. You have not
Yes,
sent
I
him?
think I have. Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes,
Routine is with you. Dr. Saab, routine is with you from 12th onward.
yes, sir.
Or if you have not got, then we will send you another copy.
no,
But
actually,
what
they
we have,
have come from two different lines of this WhatsApp. So in
uh,
this, it was only about today's webinar. So I wanted to be clear that about in today's webinar, it is start of a training program
today
in
it is
which.
a inaugural. Today is a inaugural program. This is the inaugural program. We are
Thank you.
inaugurating the program. So you can say anything, any of these programs,
Okay.
whatsoever you wish, because you are
Thank you.
inaugurating the program. You see, your program, your special lecture is on 16th of this month. That is on
Yes,
disaster management.
disaster man. That's right.
Disaster management. And
So I think
Professor Gangadhar is on 12th July. That is, he will be introducing the program, introductory. That is his introductory lecture. So these are the routine of this program. We have not made separately, because till now I am not clear that auction the
Windows में वाला
participants as
programming.
update first. That's why I made a routine like that, that it is two to all. So this is what, because I thought that now
So,
all the participants want to know about each program. So this is something from, so it is from all programs.
so to start with, thank you for clarifying. To start with, I think the first topic I am looking at the this is international training program on Gandhi ji and happiness,
Yes.
and I think I can tell a little about that thing about happiness, and then I can think about other things. Uh, are the students are there in the in this program?
Students are not
Have
with me
the
connected. Swam Shidda,
The
where is the
students
student?
will join after some time. Just after some time, they will join.
okay,
And when?
okay, thank
One has joined.
okay. So it is among ourselves just now for the
The students have joined now.
Who have joined?
They are joining.
Who? Okay,
All
one
of them are
second.
joining, sir. All of them are
All
joining.
of them are joining. Okay.
Yes.
Joining. They will join.
okay. They have joined.
Today,
Okay.
today is the first day, so there may be some confusion. But from tomorrow,
No, it
so
may not be everybody, but I think they are supposed to have joined there. Uh, if I recall, we had started from Gandhi and Buddha long back, and the purpose of introducing this subject in the training program is that what what is essence of our life, means what we wish and where we want to reach. It, because as such, our training program do not
just a minute.
I welcome you,
do
Mr.
not
Arun
speak.
Gandhi.
Thank you.
I
Namaste.
welcome you, Arun Gandhi ji.
Just welcome.
We
Welcome.
welcome you to this program.
Just
I
join.
welcome you on behalf of Society for Empowerment.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
So,
Please
so
take
can I
over.
continue for?
Yes, you can.
So, so we had started with Gandhi and Buddha on their journey,
Hmm.
and everybody who has joined this training program must be thinking that what is the outcome, means what we are going to gain that from this training, and how we will achieve that. For that, I think that the same question was with Buddha, that what we want in life, how to proceed so that in the society we get everybody is gets rid of his beliefs. And as he has seen, there were three. One was old age, one was sickness, one was death. So what happened to Buddha, that he wanted to get a knowledge so that public uh, maybe get rid of these things, and that particular knowledge he wanted to find out. And he thought that everybody will be happy after that. That was with his thinking. And slowly he studied all the Indian culture, all the knowledge, and he found that everybody says that our wishes, our desires, they are main cause of grief. And if we remove those desires, we will be happy. forever. But then what happened? That he kept on removing those desires. He was experimenting with him. Buddha was experimenting with himself. He left the thing. Okay, all the pleasures. Okay. Then slowly he left other desires also and thought that he will be happy and that knowledge he will give to everybody. But what happened? In the last stage, he was sitting in the Bodhi Vriksh, because the Bodhi Vriksh, he was hungry and just he imagined that I am going to die. And at that point of time, what came to his mind? What came to his mind was that I started my journey to find out ways and means to get pleasure, to get rid of old age, sickness, and death. Now I am already old. I am sick for all practical purposes. I am near to death. Now, after this stage, even if I get that particular knowledge, what is use of that? So, what people say that this was the knowledge, this was divine knowledge he found, which made him Buddha. Actually, his finding was that this knowledge you cannot get, which can remove all the griefs and all other things. And the maximum you can do is that keep your desires to a minimum. And that is why he said that even the desire to find a supreme knowledge is also a desire which gives you grief, and you cannot be happy if you carry on with the desire. So he left that desire, that I will leaving that so that I am happy, and he found his share of happiness. But that thinking he gave it to his disciples, his five disciples, and they were translated into form that samyak. One word was samyak, means timely. Everything, knowledge, what you need, that is sufficient knowledge. Physical possessions, what you need, that is timely. And other was word was madhyam marg, not very desirous and not very not don't start to increase your desires and don't start to even kill those desires. That was madhyam marg. Somehow when I see Gandhi, I found same with him. That slowly he left many possessions. He continued with as little cloth as possible. He continued with as little food as possible. Even everything, like just what was necessary for his purpose, that was maybe independence of India, maybe whatever, maybe in his mind. Only that much knowledge, that much work, that much life he can took with him, so that it is the middle path. I don't see anybody else, even up to today, of his disciples, who has so thoroughly, who is so thoroughly similar to Buddha in leaving those desires and continuing with his purpose. Buddha's purpose was to get a great knowledge. That knowledge, whatever we found, he gave to everybody. Gandhi's purpose was something better for the people of India, and he succeeded in giving that with his knowledge and purpose. So that is the little part I can understand about the theory of happiness with our great Mahatma Gandhi. That it was so in harmony with Indian culture and Indian knowledge, our Indian knowledge, that all the public of India They understood very quickly, and with that integrity. Integrity is a word we are taught in the very beginning. Integrity means what you think and what you speak and what you do. They are exactly same. So whatever he thought, whatever he taught everybody, and whatever he did, they were in perfect harmony. That is what I take lesson from him. That is the complete integrity. And the lesson is that if we have that integrity, then we shall be happy. Because most of our griefs are speaking lie, showing something else than what we are, and doing something else than what we think. We think we will do so many things today. We don't get up in the morning. Now, how we do? So, our thinking is not in harmony with what we do. Similarly, we want to do something, but think everybody will be not happy with our. Now, if somebody will not be happy, we have to speak truth and face that. If we want to really do it properly, and if we want to hide it from somebody, it's not. So, great lesson from Mahatma Gandhi is complete integrity of manasa, vacha, karmana, our thought, our speech, and our work. Because he could do it, so he had the immense power to move whole country and everybody of this country towards a particular goal. Uh, I think in happiness, whatever little I have understood, uh, I don't know anymore. Maybe I can speak something, but I think I have been able to convey whatever I could understand about the topic. And if something else comes, I will be in midway helping or adding everything to this. And thank you for listening me. And I will be ever thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Speak. I stop my speech. Mr. Narayan, I think you are muted. Narayan Saab, please unmute. Yes.
Now it's okay.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
ठीक है. अब आवाज जा रही है?
हाँ हाँ.
नहीं आ रही है आवाज?
आ रही.
So Dr. Arun Gandhi ji is with us. So this is a training program. I call it a training program, but it is an awareness program. Awarening. We are trying to make youth of India aware of the uh, facts of the life through which we are suffering, and that is quite necessary for each youth to know of it. The first one is that is about the pollution, water pollution, air pollution, then the disaster, and then is the Gandhi and happiness. So, and the Gandhi and conflict management. Since you are with us, you are the right person to educate us, to tell us something about Gandhi and happiness, Gandhi and conflict management. So we welcome you and we want to hear you what on these aspects.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this webinar. What Gandhiji really wanted for India and for the world was not just independence or not just happiness for everybody, but he wanted situation where all of us could live in harmony with each other. He was concerned about the environment and ecology. He was very conscious of what was happening and how we were destroying the environment for our own personal gains. And he realized that simply recycling and not wasting things was not enough. We had to do much more than that, because in the recycling program that we have today, it gives people the impression that they can consume whatever they want as much as they want, as long as they are recycling the waste. And the problem today is that we cannot sustain this level of economic growth um, without um, um, without marginalizing a substantial portion of the population. And that is not a very good thing. The materialistic lifestyle that we have chosen has created the disparities, the uh, poor and the rich, and the population of the poor is growing more and more all over the world. And that kind of situation will not bring harmony in the community. And if there is no harmony in the community, there can be no happiness in the community. So he wanted the world to be aware that we can live with uh, less, uh, uh, less materialistic goods. We can live a simple life and yet have a lot of enjoyment and happiness. And he demonstrated this through his lifestyle, and showed us that we don't need so many things. We don't need to buy things because they are available in the market or that somebody is producing them, that we can control our consumption. And by controlling our consumption, we are able to spread the benefits to a larger portion of society, and thereby we can eradicate poverty. So at this stage now, the world has come to a point where we realize what we are doing to the earth and what we are doing to the environment and ecology, and basically what we are doing to one another. The way we are impoverishing people, and that has led to so many conflicts all over the world. And so we need to do something, excuse me, we need to do something to change this. And how do we change is a question. Are we willing to sacrifice? Are we willing to simplify our standard of living? Are we willing to stop being greedy and think about other people? Today, greed has overtaken us. Greed has dominates everything that we do, and even in our parenting of our children, We always tell our children that they must be successful in life and they must get to the top and get there by any means possible. Don't think about anybody else. Just think about yourself and get to the top. Now, that is the first lessons in greed that we are implanting in our children, that they have to be successful, and success is always measured in terms of how much you are making or how much you possess. What kind of a house do you have, and what kind of material things that you have. That is the measure of success. And that kind of a materialistic, greedy attitude has been multiplying in the world, and that is the cause of many of the problems, not just the problem of poverty among human beings, but the destruction of environment and everything else is all related to that greed that we are so dominated by. So as long as we are not able to get away from that greed and the materialism, nothing is going to matter. And this is what Gandhiji wanted people to learn. He was not simply working for India's independence. He was working for the awakening of the human being and human consciousness so that we can all live together. He had this global vision because he realized that we are all interconnected and interrelated and interdependent. And it's only when we work that way and when we look at everybody in different parts of the world as being our brothers and sisters and working together to help everybody, creating Sarvodaya everywhere, that alone is going to help us bring harmony in the world. He once said that the worst thing that humanity has done is created this whole impression of nationalism. And the politicians today play on that all the time. We have to be nationalistic. We have to be thinking of our nation alone. We don't think about other people or other nations. We are taught to be patriotic and so on. And that has given us the impression that we can live in our own country and do everything for our country, and we don't have to worry about the world. And that is why today we have all the governments in the world. Their foreign policy is about what is good for their country and not what is good for the world. Nobody looks at what is good for the world. They just look at what is good for their country and how can we exploit the world to get what we want for our country. And as long as we get it for our country, it doesn't matter how we got it or what we have sacrificed to get that and what effect it has had on the world. So that kind of narrow policy, narrow mindedness is very dangerous, and it is the cause of a lot of the grief that we experience today. And Gandhiji wanted us to get out of that kind of mindset and broaden our perspective and be able to accept everybody in the world as part of our human family and work for the good of everybody. So, we have to develop that kind of thing. We have to develop nationalism that is more broad. it should encompass the entire world and not just one nation. And then we would be able to create that atmosphere. So even 100 years ago, when the world was not even conscious of environment and ecology, these terms were not in use by people commonly as they are now. Even at that time, Gandhiji was conscious of these things and he was working towards it. Um, I lived with him in the ashram and I experienced this firsthand. I would like to share a story with all of you. When I was a young boy, I was about 13 years old, and I was living with Bapuji in Sevagram Ashram. And we had gone to Pune because he was undergoing some nature cure treatment. And we were living in Dinsha Mehta's nature cure clinic for a little while there. And during that time, he had arranged for me to have private tuitions so that I didn't miss my school education. And one day I was coming back from my tuition and I had a notebook and a small pencil. And, it was about 3 inches long. And I thought I deserved a better pencil. This is too small for me to use. And without a second thought, I just threw the pencil away because I was so sure that when I asked grandfather for a new pencil in the evening, he would give me one. But that evening, when I met Bapuji and I asked him for a new pencil to do my lessons, instead of giving me one, he subjected me to a lot of questions. He wanted to know how the pencil became small and where did I throw it away and why did I throw it away. And finally, he said, you have to go out and look for it. And by then, it was already evening and it was getting dark. And I was astonished. And I told Bapuji, I said, how do you expect me to look for a little pencil in the dark? He gave me a torch and he said, go out and look for the pencil and bring it to me. I want to see how small it became. So you couldn't say no to Bapuji. Whatever he asked, you did it. I took the torch and went out and looked for the pencil, and it seemed so ridiculous because people were asking me, what are you looking for? Did you lose a gold ring or some jewelry or what is it? What are you looking for? And I would tell them I was looking for a pencil and they would all laugh at me. What are you looking for a pencil in the dark for? But I found the pencil eventually and took it to Bapuji, and at that point he told me, he says, now I want you to sit here and learn two very important lessons. The first lesson is that even in the making of a simple thing like a pencil, we use a lot of the world's natural resources. And when we throw them away, we are throwing away the world's natural resources, and that is violence against nature. And the second lesson is that because in an affluent society we can afford to buy all these things in bulk, we overconsume the resources of the world. And because we overconsume them, we are depriving people elsewhere of these resources and they have to live in poverty. And that is violence against humanity. And that was the first time I realized that when we talk about violence, it's not just simply violence against human beings or physical violence of beating up people. It's violence of our entire lifestyle. Violence has become so much a part of our life that it's overtaken every aspect of human nature. Our music has become violent, our politics is violent, our entertainment is violent, our sports is violent. Um, Everything about us is violent. Our speech is violent. Our parenting is violent. Our relationships are violent. Everything has become dominated by violence. To make me understand the violence, he made me draw a genealogical tree of violence with, like we do a family tree, with violence as the grandparent and physical violence and passive violence as the two branches. And every day before I went to bed, I had to analyze and examine everything that I had experienced during the day and put them down on that tree. Now, if it's physical violence where we use physical force against one another, beating up and killing and destroying and all that kind of thing, that would go under physical violence. But if it's the kind of violence that we use against one another without using any physical force, where we hurt people without beating them up or without using any physical violence, things like discrimination, where we look down on people or we um, classify people and we um, think that people who belong to a different religion or a different philosophy or a different nationality are inferior to us. All of these things and wasting, the amount of waste that we incur every day, things that we throw away. Food, for instance, we take more food than we need to consume, and then we can't consume it, so we just throw it away because we can afford to do that. Now, I live here in the United States, and I was shocked that in America, in such an advanced country, that even in this country, we waste more than 60 billion, BILLION, billion dollars worth of food every year is thrown into the garbage. And yet, in the United States, there are millions of people who go to bed hungry because they can't afford to buy food. So that is also a form of violence. So all of these things we have to be conscious of. And that was really an awakening thing for me to do that kind of introspection by putting it down on a paper, all the different forms of violence. I became aware of it. It was a form of learning about yourself and your own weaknesses. It's only when we learn about our own weaknesses that we can do something to transform those weaknesses. But if we just live without learning about it, then we live in denial. We don't think that we are weak or we have any bad habits. So the progress that Bapuji thought about, progress of humanity, was not about just the scholastic education that we get. That is not enough. You may get a PhD, but if you are not aware of human beings and human nature, and if you are not able to build human relationships and so on, then that education is only half of the education. The other half of the education is where we have to awaken ourselves, where we have to uh, look at our own weaknesses and change those weaknesses into strengths, where we look at our bad habits and return those bad habits into good habits. It's only then that we will be able to simplify our life and live a more meaningful life. Until then, we are existing. What we are doing right now is we are existing from morning till evening, from birth to death, just doing the same old thing and chasing after more and more money and more goods, and see how we can become richer and richer than the other person. And in that process, we are not living. We are only running around in circles. So that is the message that both Bapuji and Lord Buddha had for us. I see a lot of uh, a lot of um, how can I put it, similarities in the teachings of Buddha and Gandhi. They had similar thoughts. They were at different times, but then expressing it in different terms. But the core of their message was similar. And this is what we need to learn from them. How do we improve ourselves? How do we um, uh, um, become conscious of our weaknesses and our bad habits, and how do we transform that? And it's through that we will then be able to transform the world and save the world. And that will bring us happiness. Happiness is not what you have achieved for yourself. Happiness is what you have achieved for the good of other people. There is more happiness in giving to other people and helping other people get up in life than in just doing things for yourself. So we have to, um, you know, go through this whole process of awakening our consciousness and awakening ourselves and transforming ourselves from the bad habits that we have today into good habits, and through that and through the global vision of creating peace and harmony in the world. Peace peace is not the absence of war or the absence of fighting. Because India and Pakistan are not fighting at the moment, it doesn't mean that we are living in peace. Or because the US and any other country is not fighting at the moment, it doesn't mean that we are living in peace. Peace is only when we can achieve that harmony, where we live for each other and live to create a society based on the concept of Sarvodaya. So these are the messages that we need to think about and learn about and practice. Not, we can get caught in the paralysis of analysis. We can create thousands of webinars and seminars and go on discussing these philosophies over and over and over again. But if we don't learn from those philosophies and practice it in our life, then all that learning is useless. Then we just indulge in analyzing a philosophy just for the sake of analyzing it and waste our time without benefiting from it. So let's not get caught in the paralysis of analysis, but let's learn from these philosophies and practice it in our lives, and through our lives, making a change in the world. We have to be the change that we wish to see in the world. It has to begin with us and grow from us to the rest of the world. So, with these few words, I would like to wish all of you the best success in the week long webinar. I'm sorry I won't be able to join you every day of these webinars, but I know that you are in good hands, and that you will all um, be able to come up with a very workable program for the rest of the world to follow. Thank you, and all good wishes.
Good lesson that by organizing this webinar, we are not going to make a change in the society.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can you, Narayan sir, can you please join again? Narayan sir, I think there's a technical issue.
As we would be able to make these people aware of the younger generation, aware of what is the philosophy and what they are supposed to adopt in their own life and practices, so that gradually we can bring change in the whole global scenario. That is more important, and we are very much thankful to you. We are also much concerned about the conservation of the natural heritage, and this is one of the topic of this one of the webinar that we will be discussing, and the other is on the water. Then we have some topic on the conflict management also. So with all that, the society will post you the recording of all the each day activities of the this program, and we hope that if you are not joining us in each day our activities, then sometime in future also we will request you, and you will spare some time to us. So thank you once again. I thank you very much for taking pain and to share your experiences with Gandhiji, uh, and uh, we get much inspired of it, and we are trying to adopt the philosophy and to act accordingly, and to transform and to transmit this knowledge to the younger generation. This is one of the objective of the Society for Empowerment that we are doing, and I do not know, I cannot claim that we will bring some change, but we are in the process to bring some change in the society and the younger generation to believe in the philosophy of Gandhiji and also of Buddha, because Gandhiji was much influenced by Lord Buddha. So with these words, I once again thank you. And now I will request Professor uh, Gangadharji, Professor M.R. Gangadhar. He is a great anthropologist, and he is chairman of the anthropology department of the Mysore University. And I will request him to uh, say few words about the program, about the what Arun Gandhi ji has said, Honorable Arun Gandhi ji has said, what Dr. A.K. Pandey has said, and something about the program also, if possible, you can say, so that the participants may get benefit of your knowledge and sharing with the knowledge, sharing of knowledge with them.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all. Respected Professor S. Narayan, sir, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, Society for Empowerment. Respected Dr. Arun Gandhi, sir, Peace Ambassador of UNO, and Dr. A.K. Pandey, sir, retired IAS officer, Dr. Shivani, Secretary, Society for Empowerment, SWAMS, Siddha Das, coordinator of this program, and invitees, friends, my dear students. I consider it is a privilege to be a part of this inaugural program. I commend the Society for Empowerment for offering global online training programs for a younger generation. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Professor S. Narayan for organizing these important programs, which is need of the hour. The term pollution refers to any substance that negatively impacts the environment on the or organism that live within the affected environment. Pollution is one of the main causes of ecosystems destruction. Pollution can diminish resources and drive away local animal populations. As you all know, there are five major types of pollutions. In future, our students are they are going to study. One is air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, light pollution, noise pollution. Among the five types, air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution are the major types of pollution in the especially in the developing countries. Air pollution, a major source of air pollution results from burning of fossil fuels, vehicle and factory emissions are common source of pollution. Air pollution contributes to respiratory problems and other lung ailments. A major source of water pollution is runoff from agriculture, fields, industrial sites, or urban areas. Runoff disturbs the water body natural balance. Raw sewage is another type of water pollution. And a third source of water pollution is a tars, improperly disposed of items such as plastic bags, fishing lines, and other materials may accumulate in the water and lead to the premature death of animals that get tangled within the garbage. Soil pollution can become polluted by industrial source or the improper disposal of toxic chemical substance. Even now, I have visited many universities and I have observed, even though they carry out a good research, but the disposal systems are not in as per the environmental law. Means everybody is uh, violating the environmental law. Coming to the public health is the science of protecting and improving the health of people and their communities. Public health is concerned with protecting the health of entire population, and this population can be as small as a local neighborhood or as big as entire country or region of the world. Public health addresses population need. Population public health program seek to address major health issues such as depression, anxiety, drug abuse, and obesity, so on and so forth. Health agencies need to be flexible to address the need of vulnerable communities, which can change when economic, social, or population health issues arise. For instance, uh, when a pandemic outbreak occurs, public health workers may provide needed disease testing, contact tracing, or patient support services. Public health program might also need to adapt to conditions such as increase in domestic violence or high rate of asthma among community residents. Public health professionals try to prevent problems from happening or recurring through implementing educational programs, recommending policies, administering services, conducting research in contrast to clinical professionals like doctors and nurses who focus primarily on treating individuals after they become sick or injured. Public health also work to limit health disparities. A large part of public health is promoting healthcare equity, quality, and accessibility, because many of them they may not be able to all the facilities, accessibilities, and these programs can make a huge difference in the quality of life at risk populations. Public health's goal is to enhance the well-being of individuals and communities, and public health workers play a vital role in improving the population health outcomes. Coming to Mahatma Gandhiji, friends, when Gandhiji's name is taken in the context of health, it is essential to quote him. I quote, "It is health that is real wealth and not piece of gold and silver." Unquote. World Health Organization, in the preamble to its constitution, defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. It has been further amplified to include the ability to lead a socially and economically productive life. Gandhiji believed in giving away the materialism. Just now, Arun Gandhiji has mentioned that, and that's often seen in the present India. Health is always a real wealth, and along with education, is the cornerstone for a long lasting sustainable development. Gandhiji's book on keys to health is one of the most popular than all of his writings, which sheds light on the importance of ideas regarding the health. Gandhiji's teaching insists on having a knowledge of one's self and body to lead a healthy life. He states that human body is composed of five elements, which ancient philosophers have described as earth, water, air, and vacancies. He believed in nature's ability to heal the body's power in regaining its composure. But unfortunately, we have polluted our earth, water, and air, have hammered the ether, which helps to maintain and regain the health. In recent years, it has been nearly impossible to live in the majority of the Indian cities, which have been consistently named as one of the most polluted cities in the world. The impact of this level of pollution will be a major health economic crisis in India. Though Gandhiji believed in all systems of medicine, he was particularly drawn to nature cure and believed in preventing techniques for disease management. When it comes to his own health, he would treat himself through nature cure or by fasting and experimenting with dietetics. Sir Narayan uh, is conducting many important course for the younger generations and to educate them. And this definitely these courses are very important because we have to educate our children, youngsters about the environment. And because as an anthropologist, our concept is the man and environmental relationship. We have to save the earth because it has given all facility for us, and we should educate our youngsters uh, to save this earth. With this, I would like to conclude. I can confidently say that the aim of the program to comprehensively influencing the younger generation uh, because this is the need of the our these courses are will be very useful for the students, research scholars, total youngsters. I should thank Narayan sir for taking all pain and strain to organize this type of program to help the youngsters. This one. With this, once again, I express my sincere thanks to all the participants for your patience hearing. I'm also thankful to the organizers for giving me this chance to share my few words. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir.
Narayanji,
Ji,
may I take your leave now?
okay, okay.
Thank you very much, everybody, and
Thank you, sir.
nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
So now, Shivani, where is Shivani to give vote of thanks? Is she on? Is she here? Shamsida,
I'm contacting her.
can you
I'm
connect her?
contacting her.
So, Professor Gangadharji, you have said very rightly
Yes,
that
sir.
as an anthropologist, we are more concerned for the pollution because that is that concerns the human being.
Yes, sir.
And anthropology being the science of man in its totality, we cannot ignore the
Yeah.
pollution, whether it is a pollution of the water or pollution of the air, all these matters, because that depends. You are a physical anthropologist, biocultural anthropologist, so you know it better.
Yes.
That how the height of the man and the food habits, the teeth, and all that is decided by
Yeah.
the ecology,
Nature.
environment, and food
Yeah.
habits.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought that as an anthropologist and as a believer in Gandhi, we can do something for the society. And
Definitely, sir.
I'm very much
Welcome,
thankful
sir.
to you for
Welcome,
your
sir.
cooperation and coordination. And I am sure that you will that your department and you will cooperate in this kind of program because the younger generation of anthropologists they need to be educated
Yes,
because
sir.
this is the time when we can see at least grandson of Gandhiji, but he is also 92 years
Yeah.
old. So
Yes.
by the time the younger generation grow,
Mm.
there will be hardly a person to tell them that yes, this is my experience with Gandhiji and this is what it should be. Because what
Yes.
you said and what he said, that is the similar, the conservation of the nature and conservation of natural resources. That is a must for the survival of the human being. If
Yes.
we, as we are doing today, desperately destroying the nature and the natural resources, it will not continue for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And after 100 years, Each time, which we find as an anthropologist that not only the physical appearance of the man, but also about the mental capacity of the man, that also which is major
Yeah.
in cranial capacity, that also changes with the time. Each
Yes.
time after 100 years or so, this kind of epidemic comes, and that
Yeah.
impact, that has a great impact on the physical aspect of the human.
Yes. Because man is living in a different environment condition, and even the food habit varies from one geographical area to another geographical area, and their cultural pattern, everything it varies. Uh, and it is not possible to all the youngsters to visit all the places. At least if they join this type of courses, short-term courses, and they will get a chance to interact with good scholars, which may not be possible in their departments. So it will be helpful for the younger generation, and they can have a good knowledge on the environment, because it is a moral responsibility of all the individuals to protect, because of lack of education, many of them are, for example, mining, because of greediness to earn money. Many of them are involving, and they don't know how it impact, and that impact will not be a small period. It may go one generation, two generation, three generation also. So, if when we educate the youngsters, at least they can educate the others, and we cannot reach everybody. And if we reach 100, and that 100 may reach another 100, so it goes 1,000. So like that, we are grateful to you for offering this type of courses. So especially online courses, easily they can connect, and the evening classes will be very comfortable for them, and it is very worth course for them, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I will request Dr. Rani to give vote of thanks.
सोसाइटी फॉर एम्पावरमेंट की तरफ से जो ये ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम चलाया जा रहा है गांधी एंड हैप्पीनेस, उसमें सभी को आज मैं स्वागत करती हूँ। डॉक्टर ए के पांडे जी, मिस्टर गंगाधर जी और डॉक्टर अरुण गांधी जी जो अभी कार्यक्रम से वो ले चुके हैं, उनको भी स्वागत करती हूँ। और हमारे जो छात्र आज भाग ले रहे हैं, आगे उनका जो कार्यक्रम चलेगा वो बेस्ट ऑफ लक उसके लिए, वो अच्छे से ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम करें और गांधी जी के बारे में जानें। डॉक्टर नारायण का भी मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ जिन्होंने ऐसा प्रोग्राम बनाया गांधी एंड हैप्पीनेस, और छात्रों को इसके बारे में बताने जो आज के लिए जरूरी है, पीस और हैप्पीनेस इसी के लिए भी बहुत जरूरी है, उन्होंने बताया। स्वयं सिद्धा,
Is the participants have any question?
Do the participants have any questions? Please feel free to ask.
Even they can interact with Narayan sir and me if they want.
If you have
Satish?
any question, any doubt, any observation, you are free to ask me or Dr. A.K. Pandey, or now Arun Gandhi has left, so you are free to ask. No question. Okay, then we will meet day after tomorrow at
Yes, sir.
what time?
6 o'clock. They
Swamshita,
have
what
given.
is it? 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Swamshita,
Yes, sir. We will all meet at 6 o'clock from 12th onwards. From July 12th onwards, the classes are starting. So from July 12th,
so we
6
will
p.m.
meet on 12th. at 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we are again in that day. Professor Gangadhar and
Yes, sir.
myself will be there
Okay.
to meet you and to share our experiences,
Okay.
knowledge, subject assigned
Okay,
on
sir.
that day. I think you have got the routine, so we will share.
Okay,
And
sir. Thank you.
you are free to ask any question if you have.
No, sir.
Otherwise, no question. Okay then. Okay then. Thank you, Professor Gangadhar.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Dr. Pandey. We are very much thankful to you. Namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.